So today we will talk about adductor canal. We are going to summarize this topic under three subheadings. One, the introduction, then the boundaries and the content, and if any clinical is present, we are going to discuss about that. So talking about introduction, this extends from the femoral triangle to the opening of adductor magnus, and it is triangular in shape. Now look at this. This is the okay. Look at this diagram. So here it is the femoral triangle. Here it is the femoral triangle, and this is the apex of the femoral triangle, and medially we'll have the adductor group of muscles. This adductor compartment muscles, first we'll have adductor longus, then brevis, and then the magnus. So here suppose this is the adductor magnus, and at the ending point of the adductor magnus you will have a small opening called adductor hiatus. We'll know about this in dissection. So what remember this for now. Here it is the femoral triangle, and here it is the apex of the femoral triangle, and here we have a adductor magnus muscle with its opening. So the line connecting the apex of the femoral triangle and the opening, which is called hiatus, is basically the adductor canal. So once again we're gonna talk about it. Here it is the apex of the triangle, and here it is the opening of the magnus, adductor magnus. So this the line which is connecting both of it is the adductor canal. So don't write this in the exam. It's basically the canal. It extends from the apex of the triangle to the adductor hiatus, and this canal is triangular in shape, as you can see here. And we are going to talk about now the boundaries. The anterior lateral boundary, it is formed by the vastus medialis. See here in this picture, this is the anterolateral boundary. It is present anteriorly. As we know, the anterior direction and the backward is the posterior view. So here in the anterior view, this is the lateral side and this is the medial side. So anterolaterally, which is present, vastus medialis, and then the posterior medially, adductor longus and the adductor magnus are present. And on the roof we'll have the sartorius muscle, so and also subsartorial plexus. So here if you see the roof, first we'll have the sartorius muscle, and if you remove the sartorius muscle we are going to find the subsartorial plexus, which contains obturator nerve, saphenous nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of thigh. So first let's talk about the lateral and the medial boundary. The lateral boundary is formed by the vastus medialis. The medial boundary is formed by the adductor magnus and the longus. Okay, now talking about the roof, it has sartorius muscle, and once you remove the sartorius muscle you will find the subsartorial plexus. What does this subsartorial plexus consist of? It consists of nerves. What nerves? Obturator nerve, saphenous nerve, medial cutaneous nerve of thigh. Just remember is using SOM or MOS, just make your own mnemonic. And under this you'll have a sheath, fibrous aponeurosis, which connects the, suppose this is the medial side, okay, and here it is the lateral side. Like suppose this is the lateral side and here it is the medial side. Okay, this is the medial, this is the lateral. So lateral side, which muscle is present? We have the vastus medialis, and on the medial side we have the adductor magnus and the longus. So connecting these two muscles there is a fibrous sheath, fibrous aponeurosis, which is called vasto-adductor membrane. It is a modification of the deep fascia that is present, and after you remove all this we're gonna find the contents of the adductor canal. So what are the contents? It's basically femoral artery, femoral vein, saphenous nerve, and then nerve to vastus medialis, obturator nerve, descending genital artery. So the main contents you remember here. See, above this we just talked about the femoral triangle in the extent, right? So we have a basic idea, like the contents of the femoral triangle are passing down below. So write the contents of femoral triangle also. There will be a femoral artery, femoral vein. After you complete this, we are going to have a saphenous nerve, right, which is also a content of the femoral triangle. And now use your common sense. The vastus medialis is forming the boundary of it, anterolateral boundary. So there will be a nerve which supplies to the vastus medialis, right? So the nerve to vastus medialis, and also we talked about the subsartorial plexus, in which we talked about obturator nerve and the saphenous nerve. So also you can write this in the contents. So basically in the contents, what are we going to write about? The contents of femoral triangle, the main contents, the femoral artery, femoral vein, and then the subsartorial plexus, we learned about this, right? So remember the obturator nerve and the saphenous nerve, write it down here, and then using your boundaries, you're going to write the nerve to vastus medialis. These are the contents of the adductor canal. You can see here, this is the saphenous nerve, and this is the femoral artery, this is the vein. This is the diagram from BDC. You can also see the obturator nerve and the descending genital artery and the saphenous artery. So basically what this says is, in the starting part of the adductor canal, there will be the nerve first, and then the artery, and then the vein. But in the ending part, when you come here, we'll have a vein, and then the artery, and then the nerve. You can write about it. And here is the main diagram which you're going to draw in the exam. So this is the femur. Attached to it, you'll have the vastus medialis, and below it you have the adductor longus, and beneath it you will have the adductor magnus also, and here the sartorius. So this thing you see right here, the triangular shaped one, is the adductor canal. So the roof, see, this is the roof, right? This is the canal right here, and this whole portion here is the roof. In the roof we'll have the sartorius, and then the subsartorial plexus, and then the vasoadductor membrane. These are the three we discussed in the roof. And here the adductor longus forms the posterior medial boundary. Imagine this in the 3D, okay, or else you can just see this in this picture. This is the anterior side, this is the posterior, and the medial side, this is the anterior and the lateral side. Just imagine this and draw the muscles and the contents. You're going to draw the saphenous nerve, the main nerve, the femoral artery, femoral vein, obturator nerve, and the nerve to vastus medialis. So this is about the adductor canal. So what are the clinicals of the adductor canal? Basically, in the popliteal aneurysm, you can ligate the femoral artery in this adductor canal, okay? And also if there is any compression of the any kind of muscles, like hypertrophy of the vastus medialis or the any muscles, can lead to the compression of femoral artery,